Made it. There's a lot of them have shown up before, and there's only about 4 or 5, so this is great. I have about a 15-minute slide presentation, PowerPoint, with just some images of what the camp looks like. Go through just some basic logistics of what your kids' experience will be like when they get to Catalina. At the end, I'll open the floor up if anyone has any questions. I'm one of the directors of the program. I've been there for a number of years, since 2000 actually. Yeah, it's a wonderful program, wonderful opportunity for students. A lot of bonding happens between students. They get a lot of time for interpersonal reflection, and then they learn a ton and do a lot of really fun exploring. Sika, I believe Sika's 4th year, will be Sika's 4th year coming to the program. We absolutely love having Sika. Valesca Lopez was the coordinator for a number of years. We developed a really great relationship with your school through Mrs. Lopez. Really excited to have Mrs. Sharp and Mrs. Stickney leading the charge this year. And so yeah, and I believe Mrs. Stickney's been a bunch of times, so you can always, after I'm done talking, just go say, now what's the real scoop? And I'm sure she'll tell you. But this is kind of an aerial image of the camp. It's called Howland's Landing. Raise your hand if you've been to Catalina before. Anyone out there? Oh my gosh, majority of people. Now, raise your hand if you've been to the remote west end of Catalina Island. Okay, a couple hands. So if you imagine Catalina Island, it's almost like a chicken, a skinned chicken with a big body, neck, and a little head. Avalon is over by the tail. We're way up near the beak of of the chickens. We're on the opposite of the island. We will have a chartered boat coming directly from San Pedro into the camp. The Catalina Express is the main ferry provider. They provide the fastest transport out to Catalina Island, safest, fastest, most professional. We exclusively use the Catalina Express. This will be similar to the boat that the students will be coming out on. It's about an hour and 15-minute boat ride. I don't know exactly what time you'll have to have your students here at the school to get the charter there, but I'm sure that information will be coming to you if you haven't received it already. The boat ride is actually part of the experience. We often see dolphins and seals and birds and whales and stuff like that in the boat ride going over. Please make sure though that you do talk to your students. There are some travel guidelines. Kids are going to want to run around the boat the entire time, eat candy, go crazy. We don't want that happening, obviously. It is traveling very fast, this boat, so they do need to sit down, have a seat, and kind of, it is still a school trip. Boat ride, like I said, about an hour and a half. This is the first view they'll glimpse of the remote west end of Catalina Island. The kids often say, whoa, it's hilly. They're expecting a sandy island with some palm trees on it. The hills look a lot like around here, and probably a lot like around here during March are going to be really green. It is our green time of the year. Very few people get to experience Catalina Island in its green state because it dries out pretty quickly come April and May. This will be the first view. We have our own pier, so the boat will come directly to the camp. You look here, here's the pier. The students will offload their luggage. From the moment they step on to the shore, we greet them through this elaborate orientation process where we don't just throw a bunch of rules at them. We integrate it into this welcoming process. They will eat lunch, about one of the first things they do. This is the dining area up here. This is the dive hut where they're going to get outfitted for their snorkels and stuff like that, all water activities. This is boys' camp right up here. Boys have all this field space to run around and get their energy out. Ladies have the waterfront beach camp right down here. Not bad location, ladies. They get to hear the lapping of the waves on the beach. It's a rustic camp. The cabins have 6 bunk beds inside, up to 12 students will fit in a cabin. As of now, Sika is the only school there in camp, and I believe with your numbers that will be the case. We've had in the past inland leaders from UKIPA and Sika come together. But now that Sika is bringing both grades this year, it will be exclusive to your school at camp, which is kind of nice. Obviously, only girls allowed in girls' camp. Female chaperone teachers will be staying down here as well to help supervise. Same with boys camp. The boys will not be allowed to pass the palm trees. Up in this area, there are other palm trees. Girls are not allowed to go into the boys' camp area. We're really strict about those rules. Kind of a little close-up of the cabins. Actually, since this photo's been taken, little porches have been built off of the edge of each cabin. Simple, rustic, but pretty comfortable. There are overhead lights, electrical outlets, mattresses that are more comfortable than a lot of other camp mattresses that I've been on. Sturdy wooden bunk beds. And then down here we have modern restrooms and shower facilities. There's hot water. Catalina, of course, is in a severe drought like everywhere else in California. So that will be a huge theme of your child's trip is water conservation. Short showers. If possible, if they don't have a water activity scheduled on their arrival day, we discourage showering on arrival days and departure days. If they have a snorkel or a water activity, it's okay. But showers are will have to be really short, up to 3 minutes and no more. And then modern plumbing and all that kind of stuff. You don't need a shower because you're in the ocean and you're staying wet. So this is one of our, we actually haven't received Sika's program planner yet. So we don't exactly, we haven't figured out exactly the activities that you're doing, but this is kind of a, just a little sample. Every group that comes snorkels. So this is one of our favorite activities. It's amazing. We have nice thick 6mm wetsuits that the kids will be able to try on. We have everywhere from extra youth small to 6X adult large to fit every possible size. We have hoods. We have little boots, neoprene boots. And yeah, they are going to basically be becoming intrepid snorkelers. We will give them a really thorough orientation. There's a lot of kids that show up that have never been in the ocean before our program, have never swam before, more or less snorkeled before. The whole process is one step at a time, orienting them into the process. Once they get into the shallows, we give them the opportunity to splash around, get comfortable, let a little bit of water into their wetsuit, because that water will actually warm them up once their body heats it up. And we actually just snorkel directly from our beach. We have additional lifeguards on duty on kayaks that paddle with the group as they snorkel. We will have one of our staff for every activity group. The activity groups are co-ed, and one adult chaperone from Sika would be assigned to an activity group as well. This unit will go together, basically the school creates the groups, and that group will go around all the activities together. We do that so that our staff can really get to know your children, get to know their names, get to know all of their backgrounds. If they have any concerns, if they have any allergies, if they have any injuries, anything like that, or more importantly, what they're most excited about, so they can really teach to that enthusiasm. Once everyone's oriented, feels comfortable, has a chance to learn how to use the mask and snorkel, then we hop in the water. And this is the waters around Catalina Island are famous. They are teeming with life. Visibility has been really good in recent years, especially with all the El Nino events that we've had. We've actually had a lot less kelp, and so we're hoping this winter that the kelp comes back. But there has been kind of a blob of warm, really clear water, warm by California standards. It's not going to feel tropical, but what that's done is actually made the kelp be pretty scant. But what that does is makes it so that you can see the fish. So it's been like an aquarium recently. I was actually snorkeling out yesterday, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So that is a thrill for sure. And of course, not only are they going to just have fun, splash around, they're going to learn about the ecology of the waters around Catalina Island. They're going to learn about food chains, food webs, ecosystems. They're going to learn all the different roles of the different inhabitants of our cove, and what their name is, what service they provide to the ecosystem. And we actually then use that as a model for discussing humans. Well, if every critter within an ecosystem, every fish, every algae has an important role that keeps the system functioning, let's think about our role. What role do you play in your ecosystem, in your school, in your family? And we're trying to get kids to understand and honor the unique roles they can play in bettering their lives and their communities back at home. Obviously the Garibaldi, it's the one thing we can guarantee the kids will see out there. We also have a really nice sandy bottom ecosystem where you see things like the bat rays and other kind of organisms that disappear under the sand, and then as you swim they kind of come up and they reveal themselves. It's pretty exciting. Here's one of our resident ferocious sharks. This is about the biggest shark we've been seeing in our cove right now. It's about this big. It's a little horn shark. Our staff will go up and pick up the horn sharks, and the kids can feel them. The shark question often comes up. Larger sharks are not, this is not their habitat type. They don't swim around in the little shallow coves where we snorkel and swim. Catalina Island has about 8-9 different camps and incidences. There has not been an incident with any of those coves with any larger sharks, and so we do take it seriously though. If you want any more information about all the protocol we have in place just to make sure that the kids are safe. All of our staff are lifeguard certified, open water, ocean lifeguards. They have first aid, CPR, emergency oxygen, AED, supervision. We have up to about 20 staff, and right now we have an amazing staff. They, when you think of camps, you think of like an 18-year-old, counselor. We actually hire older staff. They're more like teachers. They're not really like camp counselors. These are people with degrees in education, child development, and then we have the longest staff training of any program that I am aware of. They go through a 3-week intense staff training and then an entire month of on-the-job training where they will not be leading a group of kids on their own until they have completed shadowing, observation, co-teaching, and all of that stuff. That is probably our biggest source of pride, is the amount of energy and time we put into our staff, because that is what's going to make your students' experience especially amazing, especially safe, is the staff that we are going to have working with you. And we really hope the kids take to the water. We'll probably be getting in a couple times. Like I said, I haven't gotten the exact program planner, but have your child be prepared to get wet while they're out there. The water is a little cooler during that time of year, but we have those thick wetsuits. If it's cold out, we'll bring hot chocolate down to the dive deck so that when the kids get out of the water, they can warm up. We have heaters and they can drink hot chocolate and stuff like that. And then they, of course, can go take a hot shower afterwards. Short hot shower. We will also most likely be doing kayaking. That's another favorite activity that Sika signed up for in the past. Kids get a chance to get outfitted with a life jacket, learn how to use the paddle, and then we'll take a little coastal cruise and check out the west end of Catalina Island. The west end of Catalina Island is a special, really, really special place. It's almost like California has been, it's sort of like a time capsule of old, early California. Undeveloped hills. In about the late 80s, early 90s, all of the invasive animals like the cattle and the goats and the pigs were taken off the island. And in the time I've been there, it's been amazing watching Catalina Island rebound from years and years of heavy ranching. And so The views are spectacular. So much amazing plant and wildlife for them to explore. This is an example of the kayaking group. We'll often head over to the neighboring cove. This is called Indian Rock. Really neat rocky outcropping that kids can paddle around with our staff. And hopefully we'll see some wildlife while we're out there. Tons of different habitat types that kids will explore and learn about while they're out there, like tide pools. You know, have a chance to explore the intertidal zone. What kid doesn't like walking around and looking into tide pools and seeing all sorts of crazy little critters? These are just some of the amazing, fascinating, very small little creatures they might see in our tide pools. This is called the Spanish shawl nudibranch. Really cool animal. It goes around and eats little the anemones that have the stinging cells on it, and it transfers the stinging cells from its food up into these gills to make it toxic for anything that might want to bite it. Just kind of some cool things they're going to be learning while they're out there. And obviously they'll be doing a lot of hiking. Every group does at least a 3-hour hike while they're out there. Some fantastic views. You have the packing list. Really make sure you follow that packing list. We want to make sure the kids are prepared with the right footwear. Sometimes kids show up with just the thinnest little slip-on shoes, and you know, we don't want them to get blisters or be cold or anything while they're out there. The weather in March, who knows what it's going to be like. Just like here, it's very similar to here. We could have hot 90-degree days in March. We could have colder days. It never gets as cold as it gets here because we're at the ocean, and the ocean kind of regulates the temperatures there. But most important thing is to be prepared. Be watching forecasts. If it looks like there might be a little bit of rain, pack rain gear, because we do most activities rain or shine. Obviously, kids' comfort and safety are taken into consideration. We don't want kids trekking around in the rain for 3 hours and being cold. But we do a lot of our activities even if it's raining. This is another view of the west end of Catalina Island, a view that all the kids will be able to check out when they go out on their hikes. This is what Catalina looks like during the winter months. Like I said, you're going to be one of the only schools that will get a chance to see it in its green state. This is some of I put this slide up here because it's cool. This is Catalina Island fox. It is an endemic native to Catalina. It's a little fox. Many thousands of years ago, these foxes got to the island and have adapted to be much smaller little foxes. There's a good chance kids will see them. There's a really good chance that the fox will try to steal the socks of boys that are left on the porch of their cabin. These foxes do roam around camp, so it's really important that kids pack their stuff, keep things clean while they're in their cabins. Food and snacks. We do not allow students to keep food and snacks with them, so don't try to just sneak a bunch of food and snacks into their luggage. If they do bring some for the trip over, we will basically collect it, and we will keep it in our office where the kids can access it during their free time. But we really want to make sure that kids don't have any food in their cabins. We've had stuff spill out all over the place, and then we get ants and stuff like that. Like I mentioned, they will be learning while they're out there. We do have some principles that are going to flow through all of our programs. Everything runs on energy. We'll be talking about energy, how energy runs an ecosystem, runs the kelp forest, runs the hills, and how they run us and our cities. We're going to be talking about how in nature everything gets recycled. There's no such thing as waste in a natural system. Are there maybe ways in which our human systems can learn from the wisdom of nature? Biodiversity is good. We're going to be talking about the importance that diversity plays within a natural ecosystem. The more diverse that ecosystem is, the more that ecosystem flourishes. And so is that something that we can benefit from within our human communities? We all have different strengths. Can we all pull them together and have an amazing team? And then we're going to be talking about connections, everything being connected. You do one thing, and it's going to affect maybe one of your teammates. You have an impact on an ecosystem here. It might have repercussions down the line. We'll be talking about some of those principles throughout the week. And then we use the camp to model those principles. So one example, within a natural system there's no waste, and so within camp we produce a lot of food scraps. Watermelon rinds, napkins, all that kind of stuff. And the kids will all get a chance to, during their meals, sort their compost, what's compostable and what's not from their meals. And they'll all get a chance to go back to our garden and compost that stuff and turn it into really fertile soil. We've been putting a lot of time and energy into our organic garden lately, doing some really neat renovations, things that no one from Sika has seen yet. We just got a cool geodesic dome, and it's going to be fully enclosed and be kind of an indoor garden nursery. The kids will get a chance to check that out, get their hands dirty, and see the garden in action. And it's always an activity. The kids maybe drag their feet going back there, and then by the end they're going, "That was my favorite activity." It really happens every week, and hopefully we'll plant some seeds, literally, figuratively, in terms of their interest in things like gardening, plants, and just rolling up your sleeves and working, getting stuff done. If the sun is shining, we will do some baking in our solar ovens. Lately we've been doing focaccia bread. I know Mrs. Lopez, I think the reason she comes to Kelp was because of the focaccia bread. Actually, she told me that a number of times. We do rosemary focaccia, maybe a little bruschetta if we have any tomatoes growing at the time. And kids will get a chance to see that. So if these solar ovens get about to 350 degrees, we'll do some baking. The kids will get a chance to do that. This is free time. We have a lot of free time activities. There is free time before and after every meal at camp. It's a nice balance between unstructured time and structured time. And there's volleyball, there's soccer, there's a basketball court, there's tennis courts, there's this thing called Gaga, which is like the dodgeball kind of an activity. And the kids will probably be in there the whole time. Gaga is really, really popular. And then obviously, if the kids just aren't really sports type, they can always just do reflections, socialize, stuff like that. Many opportunities for that. We will set up, if the sun is shining, during free time we'll set up a lifeguard on the beach and kids can go swimming in the March water temperatures. And then we have some evening programs. I do not know what Sika will sign up for yet, but we do offer things like campfires, we offer night hikes, stargazing, we offer a night snorkel, which is the coolest activity we do. I believe Sika has done it in the past. Kids get dive lights. We get extra staff. They illuminate their kayaks with lights so that it kind of forms a little barrier. Kids go in, a lot of them might be a little nervous, but the second they splash, put their face in the water with their lights, their grin is crazy. And then at one point, once we get into the shallows, we'll turn the lights off and they can move their hand in front of them and see the crazy bioluminescence that we have in the waters around Catalina. Their bodies glows because of all of the little microscopic plankton. It's the big wow, as we call it. So we'll get the program planner and design a program specific to your school. We do a lot of exchanging of information before the trip. We really encourage you to fill out all the paperwork thoroughly. If you have a student with allergies, if you have a student with any kind of concerns, stuff like that, put that in there because we pour through that information and we are really prepared for you to arrive. We do try to give our kitchen 2 weeks advance notice if there are any special dietary needs. So it's a good chance one of us will actually get on the phone with you, talk you through if there are things like food allergies and stuff like that. We want to make sure that we are prepared. Our kitchen does a fantastic job. The food is amazing. People say it's the best camp food they've ever had. There's always a hot bar, vegetarian meat options. There's a salad bar, a fruit bar, Breakfast always has just tons of fresh cut fruit, cereal bar, bagel bar, and then some eggs or pancakes or stuff like that. Kids eat very, very well while they're out there. It's healthy, but it's kid friendly. So a lot of kids that's probably the #1 thing they're sad about when they have to leave. They have the trip, it's saying goodbye to the food. I can't quite recall off the top of my head if it's a Monday through Friday, or Monday through Wednesday, or Wednesday through Friday trip, but whichever day you're leaving, this is the last view they'll see of the camp. Your program has now been your school has now been coming to our program for a number of years. The ties get stronger. The schools that have been coming for a lot longer since the program's been around we're now getting a lot of students that came with their class that are now applying for jobs for us and kind of completing that whole cycle. So it's kind of neat. A few of our staff were students that got a chance to do it in the early 2000s, and now they're passing off those experiences to your kids. So that'll be kind of neat. And yeah, we're hoping the kelp comes back. But even though it's kind of the namesake of our program, we have been adapting quite well with the lack of kelp out there, and it is not deterred from the experience at all. So at this point, I'm sure you have a lot of questions. There's information in your packets. There's information on our website. Just go to the name of our program, CELP, Catalina Environmental Leadership Program, CELP.net, and there's a page for parents. You can just check out a bunch of pictures and stuff. If anyone has any questions that they feel it just kind of pertains to them, maybe their child, I'll be standing here afterwards. You can come up and ask me. If it's a question that you think pertains to the whole school and everyone else would benefit from hearing, this is a great opportunity. Yeah.
Is the chaperone cost the same for students?
The chaperones pay a reduced fee, and the school is the one that sets the final fees based on the charter bus that needs to take you there and stuff like that. But our tuition cost for chaperones is 50% the student fee. Who wants to go?
Is there a little bit of kelp?
There is a little bit. We've been getting like smaller ones. Problem is kelp needs cold, nutrient-rich water, and the water's just been too warm. When it's kind of like, oh, too bad, feels amazing, but it's not been great for kelp growth. Tons of other brown algae and stuff. We've got the feather boa kelp, the palm kelp, lots of really beautiful. The underwater gardens are quite lush right now. It's just that iconic kelp hit the whole front side of Catalina Island. It's been about 2 years that it's just been too warm for it to thrive right now. So it'll be interesting. But there's been some indication people have been seeing small ones this fall, so it might mean that we'll get some good growth over the winter. Any other questions? Well, this reluctant hand. Start to raise it. Great. Well, if you have any questions, feel free to come on up. I'm sure turn this off. I'm sure the school will be providing additional information in the coming months. You are always welcome to call our office. Yeah, everyone's like, ah. You're always welcome to call our office if you have any questions. The best bet is to contact the school if you do have stuff, but then if the school can't answer anything, feel free. The parent packet that you got does have our contact information, so shoot us an email or give us a call and we can get you your questions answered. Anything else from the school?
Nope. This is just one more thing, guys. This trip in Yosemite, this is a great opportunity it's an expensive trip, and joining the foundation, you actually save money. So just so you know, if you're looking, it's an expensive trip, $330. You have until December is open enrollment for the foundation. The foundation is $300 to join. So it actually saves you $30 if you'd like to. Just to let you guys know, and the yellow sheets are back there for you. Other than that, there are some scholarships that are out there. We give about 4 or 5 a year. So if it's a situation where monetarily your child may not be able to go, contact me. Okay, we can most likely work something out.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks.